You awake? I finally passed out after all that screaming. I don't know what that was about. Now, Mr. Theoretical Businessman that is not meant to represent anyone in particular. You know I would never hurt you. What would I do without you? I need you. I know you miss your family and your kids and stuff, but we have some things to discuss first. I'm not crazy. Don't be dramatic. Can you really look at me right now and say, oh yeah, that girl's crazy? So I made a video whining about Generation 5, and I got a couple of comments basically saying, if you think it sucks so bad, why don't you make one? What is my ideal generation of My Little Pony? Obviously, I want it to return to its roots as a toy tie-in franchise. And my reboot will be unapologetically girly, like girly as we understand it today. My one major change is that I have decided to write the ponies as like 16 years old drama-wise. So this would feel more like Bratz or Winx Club than like Strawberry Shortcake. I never really considered My Little Pony to be a preschool show, but I think pre-G4 it was closer to one than it was to a general girls show. I think preschoolers honestly tend to find shows above their designated age range to be palatable, but it's more about what their parents are willing to turn on for them. Like, Bratz was probably not for preschoolers, but if you look at a lot of the people that are fondly remembering Bratz on the internet and like making edits for it, a lot of them recall watching it like pretty young, like younger than it was designed for. Kids actually tend to like stuff that they deem for big kids in an aspirational way. This is a philosophy I've seen in like home goods or products for kids, and I'm applying it here. Once a kid can identify that something was made for little kids specifically and not like big kids, they tend to gravitate away from it even if everyone around them considers them a little kid. I remember in elementary school talking to kids about that channel Noggin, that old preschool channel that Nickelodeon had, and we were discussing if we still watched it or if we had moved on to the more grown-up Disney Channel. And at that time, we still had the social consciousness to be like, if you're still watching Noggin, you're a baby. You like baby stuff, even though we were all like 4. Kids want drama in their shows earlier than the industry wants to believe, in my opinion. Those TikToks about like how companies expected us to play with their dolls versus how we actually... I'll show you.
Wow, you look so nice today. Thank you, so do you, Barbie. Let's go to the store. Okay. How could you do that to me? You're sleeping with every other Barbie. We have a family together. I don't love any of them like I love you. Stop! Me and her 35 other children mean nothing to you.
Hello, Miss Margaret. Do you want to go shopping with me?
Yes, I love shopping.
You have been brought to trial before the High Council to answer for your crimes against Unicornatopia.
Mercy.
You have been sentenced to be thrown into the pit, torn limb from limb.
Kids understand drama way earlier than we give them credit for. Generation 4, the ponies are implicitly in like their early to mid 20s. I see Twilight as maybe just finishing her master's degree and is now like essentially pursuing a PhD. My Little Pony has approached school, but I don't think it's approached like high school in the way that Bratz or Winx Club has. Or like Barbie. Barbie has approached high school in a way that My Little Pony hasn't. So, the show. Do you mind if I read off my laptop, Mr. Executive? Do you mind? My show follows the lead character, Pearl, who is a princess in the kingdom of Equestria and heir to the throne. According to a prophecy disclosed by this like ancient scroll, Pearl is destined to inherit the Rainbow of Hope, which is this power that she can use to defeat enemies, namely Prince Sombra, who seeks to erase light and hope from the world. So I'm basically just gonna go through my first episode and it'll set up like the premise for the rest of the show. So Pearl hasn't really taken charge of her Rainbow of Hope power yet. The kingdom is starting to like have their faith shaken in her because they don't really understand what her deal is. In the past, her predecessors who had the Rainbow of Hope were able to do these colorful aerial displays with the power at like royal events, and she's unable to, so the kingdom is getting antsy, like, can we trust her to lead our kingdom? The royal family is like doing their best to shield her, but there's not really much they can do. They've gotten her like coaches and specialists, but they don't really seem to be able to make any progress with her. The family only has possession of one part of the scroll prophesizing Pearl's power, so there's not really any answers for them in it. This isn't to suggest that Pearl is like clumsy or awkward, like she's not supposed to be the dorky princess type. She's capable of like professionalism and conducting herself in a stately manner, and it makes the Rainbow of Hope more frustrating because it's like breaking this illusion that she has everything in control. So Pearl's initial plight is like, oh, I'm letting my kingdom down, I'm letting my family down. One of the things that Pearl likes to do is she will disguise herself as like a common lay pony and like go out on the town and interact with people unrecognized. I feel like it's important to add that because I don't want her to be some like sheltered, uncultured aristocracy among her friends who's like scared of public transport and evidence of poverty. Like, I need her to be like a real person. And so at this point in the story, she's already befriended this pony named Star Song, who is a purple Pegasus, and she's like a punk rocker, and she likes stargazing. Star Song is a purple Pegasus deeply connected to the pony folk. She's well recognized underground as a local punk vocalist and has her signature punk collar. So Star Song has really integrated Pearl into the population and has given her insight into the upset, which Pearl then injects into her own political influence, because I don't want to say that she can make decisions yet because she's not like queen or whatever. So Star Song is Pearl's only friend at Canterlot High. Ponies are scared of her because she's like important and they don't want to upset her, or they're afraid of her Rainbow of Hope power, which they believe to be unstable, or they're like mean girls that are jealous of her and they bully her. Mean girl is like obligatory in this genre, but I'm willing to see reformation later in the show. But one day, Pearl and Star Song are put on this committee for putting together the homecoming dance, and that's where they meet the other 4 ponies. Rarity is a yellow/golden pony. Up front, she is into rare or precious metals and gemstones and jewelry. But I like to think that on the side, she's also a collector of like vintage toys and comics. Like, she has this nerd element to her. So Rarity's design, she wears glasses and gold jewelry, and she's aloof in this like quiet and mysterious way, and a lot of ponies have a crush on her, but she's too busy reading collectors magazines. Twirlerina is a bubblegum blue dancer pony. She also has a bow motif and has one in her hair, as well as some light blue ballet shoes, and she's like always listening to music. She's based on the G3 Twirlerina. I got rid of the pink hair because I felt like it was too distracting from her base blue palette, but I did keep the colorful wings. She's probably a cheerleader, like she's preppy, but in like a nice way. Pinkie Pie is the pink party pony who organized the dance. She is a general talent for bringing joy to any moment. Her colors are also based off of her G3 counterpart. I feel like her and Twirlerina were like pre-existing friends, like they were friends already, and they probably met in cheerleading. In their introduction scene, I think I would have them enter the room together, like idly chatting. Gardenia Glow, a green gardening unicorn. She likes flowers. She's really chill and relaxed. She has like earthy vibe. She's like a hippie type. Star Song and her kind of have like a thing for each other because they're both like anti-war, like peace and love types. Together, they slowly become friends as they decorate for the dance and get the food organized. Party is in full swing. Ponies are dancing and laughing. Pearl is smiling, watching the crowd, and she goes to pour herself some punch with Star Song. I'm imagining her dressed in this like beautiful white gown that gives off like a mermaid vibe. All the main ponies in the scene are dressed in homecoming gowns so that we can have a toy release of them with their gowns. Pinkie Pie gets on stage and thanks every pony for attending, which emits a great cheer. She then thanks the other members of the dance committee and waves them up on stage with her. The crowd cheers and the main 6 all share a group hug, laughing and smiling. Pearl looks around to see her new friends so happy, and as she joins them in laughter, a glow suddenly emits from her horn and a loud boom occurs. So Pearl's like floating in the air and there's a rainbow beam shooting from her horn. Her like eyes are glowing white. The beam like shoots through the roof of the school and into the sky, and then we get a scene where it like cuts to a distant view of this, where like a mysterious pony in the foreground is watching this like rainbow beam happen off in the distance. So we cut back to the school and Pearl like slowly lowers to the ground and the beam stops, and then all of a sudden like rainbow fireworks are like happening in the gym and the crowd is like, oh, and Pinkie Pie's like, great job, Pearl, and Pearl's like, I don't know how I'm doing this. The door to the gym suddenly opens and like a cold wind bursts in and like the streamers hung on the walls like flutter in the air. A dark figure looms in the doorway, but no one recognizes him. Princess Pearl, it is time we become acquainted. The crowd parts to look at Pearl, who stands on stage bewildered. Who are you? I am Prince Sombra. Prince Sombra is a mysterious dark unicorn zebra. I think later he'll be implied to have left his homeland because of ostracization, or maybe just like self-imposed isolation because he feels out of place no matter where he goes. He reveals that he has the other half of the prophetic scroll that was thought to be lost, and he does this cool thing where he like throws it on the ground and it unrolls like a red carpet, and everyone in the room can see like what's on the scroll. According to prophecy, as Pearl is the embodiment of the rainbow and therefore the embodiment of light, Prince Sombra is the embodiment of darkness, and he sees Pearl as his enemy and wants to destroy her. He believes it is their destiny to fight each other, to wage a war between darkness and light, and only one may rule the kingdom. The scroll like iconically depicts them with their horns, like, aimed at each other. Prince Sombra rules a distant land, a shadowy place that ponies dare not venture, since it is a snowy wasteland. There he lives in his castle with his loyal dragon Spike. And Spike is like a dragon. I'm not gonna do concept art because he's just a dragon. I think his colors like match Sombra. The viewers would get to know Sombra as like a dark, brooding figure. I want him to be distinctly gothic and like not emo. Like if you're thinking Zuko or Marshall Lee, you've gone too far. He's like a Severus Snape or like a Mr. Darcy or a Batman, but like younger, like young enough where like implicitly he's the same age as the main six. I'm having trouble deciding what his voice would be like because he is a zebra and I don't want to ignore that. South Africa has a lot of different accents like regionally and languages. The history is really bad. So essentially you'd be pulling from one of those. I honestly feel like for something like this, it's easier to have someone who genuinely has that accent that's from or like relevant to South or East Africa, because that's where zebras are, I think, or spent a lot of time around it instead of just like having some Westerner fucking it up. I feel like Americans specifically embarrass themselves a lot in front of the world when we have an actor doing an accent in film because the members of that accent's respective culture can see right through it if it's like even a little bit bad. And according to British people, it's bad a lot. Anyway, he reveals that his parents stole the other half of the scroll to stop her from unleashing her power. But since her power has just been unleashed, he kind of gave up. Each friend represents a different color of the rainbow, which echoes the rainbow of hope. Her cutie mark is a seashell, with each band being a different color. Pearls, like real life pearls, can have this like rainbow fluorescent sheen to them, so her literal pearl complexion is a call to that. White is a combination of all of the colors in the spectrum. So when Pearl found all of her friends, all of the colors in the spectrum, her powers were unlocked. So Pearl and her friends get together and they shoot a rainbow of hope beam at him. And he's like, oh no, I'll be back. You can't stop me. And we kind of understand from that point that he's going to be the big bad for the show. So toys. High school characters tend to be tied to fashion dolls. Hasbro has released ponies with dresses on, so I don't think this is out of the way conceptually, but because of the fashion element that high school characters traditionally carry, I think it's best to put a little more effort and thought into special outfits for like major moments in the show. Ever After High does a great job of this. Like their characters start a new saga in the show and then they get new outfits for that saga, and then they would release dolls of the characters again, but like with those new dresses. Having a set of main characters is like golden for any kids show, but like I said in the past, I don't think it's safe to like entirely rely on them for merchandise with a franchise that's so based on collectability like My Little Pony. So I would still have like one-off characters and background characters and stuff released as toys. Or even holiday ponies, like those were so fun. For G4, there were actually a few playsets where it would come with a main character and then like a special new like rando pony that doesn't exist in the show. The Applejack and Star Dreams Slumber Party set, or Celebration Canterlot Castle with Twilight Sparkle and Starbeam Twinkle. I have a brief list of toy ideas. Princess Pearl's Rainbow Ribbon of Hope toy set. So it's Pearl herself, and she has to come with a hairbrush and like her crown probably. And then it comes with, for the kid to play with, this like rainbow ribbon wand, so the kid can pretend like they have their own Rainbow of Hope power. Princess Pearl's Beauty Salon. It's shaped like a giant shell, like the Birth of Venus, but it has the toy inside. Pearls actually tend to form in all sorts of mollusks, but I feel like they're most commonly depicted coming in this beautiful like scallop shaped shell, and you open it to find like this printed salon decal, just like background, and then maybe there's like an actual molded sink, and there's some clip-in extensions for the pony, another hairbrush, like a toy hair dryer, and like some jewelry, like a necklace. And the intention is that the set is portable, so like you could fit a pony into it with all of the included accessories. Maybe Pearl comes with this, but she's already in the other set, so I don't know. But I feel like it makes sense for Pearl to be in it because it fits the pearl motif of the shell. Canterlot High Homecoming Ballroom. It's basically a playset where it's the decorated event venue for the homecoming dance. I think I said it was a gym, but honestly, it could also just be like a general venue that the school has set aside for important events like that, because I feel like Canterlot High has to be affluent because it has to be a school that the royal family would feel comfortable sending their daughter to. On the external wall of this playset, I also want there to be like a row of like molded lockers built into the wall with like some posters and bulletin boards decaled on to the wall of the playset. I think a lot of shows of this genre feature dramatic conversations or confessions in front of lockers. I certainly remember having the want for a locker for my dolls, like, because I wanted to reenact that. I'm fulfilling that need that I remember from my youth. I'm gonna give these kids some lockers. One thing I want to bring back from G3 is the spring basket. For a few years, this was released annually around like Easter. It came with 3 unique ponies, which is crazy, and then 20 accessories. Anyway, isn't this thing cool? You like her? Huh? You like that?